Hey guys, what's up? I am here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Shokugeki no Souma, Shin no Sara, or you could call it Food Wars, the fourth plate on episode 8. Now, this episode right here shows the match between Takumi Aldini and of course Ichiki Senpai's dish. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that Azami decides to come in and change the judges, which apparently other people such as Saizaman, along with Joichiro and I forgot the other guy's name, agrees. Although these judges are not to be messed with due to the fact they are first world known seats, but they are like those. How am I supposed? I ain't gonna say that word. I don't know. But one thing for sure, their name is called Decora and Courage, which apparently they are first rank of the WGO adjudicator. I don't know, kind of thing. But they ain't even insulted in Kukuke, Nene, and Megumi about Kage Tales when they were talking about An when she was just working, etc. And as for Histore and Charmos or something, they are pretty much out of the judging, but An, on the other hand, can still judge around here and there, which is understandable. But knowing that Azami is coming in to judge, Souma takes it as a good thing by saying, you know what, I could suck him with flavor personally with my own style, And we see to it that everyone is actually surprised that Yukihiro Souma says that. And we see to it that Ishiki and Tsukasa are still doing their dish of wild rabbit, while Takumi, Aldini, and Rindo are doing spear squid. And we see to it that Rindo kind of finds this irritating about the judges change here and there. And we see to it that Rindo and Takumi Aldini present their dish all together. And of course, we see to it that, let's see here, Aldini ends up presenting calamari ripene or something. And we see to it that the judges decide to give it a taste here and there. And we see to it that the calamari ripene that Takumi Aldini presented is actually a common dish in southern Italy off the coast of the Mediterranean Sea. And comparing to and we see to it that they decide to try out Aldini's dish first, and we see to it that Aldini's brother decides to talk about about Takumi Aldini's dish. It's usually mixed with panko, cheese, eggs, and tomatoes. And it looks like a simple dish. It depends what you put in the fillings in it and on the chef's experience and creativity. And we see to it that that one of the judges, Decore or Courage, ends up saying that the rich, juicy savoriness of the seafood explodes all over my tongue. The keystone of this dish are the squid liver and anchovies. And Takumi Aldini further explains yeah, I chopped them finely and sauteed them in olive oil, red peppers, and garlic until they were nice and fragrant. And then he added some white wine, simmered it, etc. And we see to it that An explains that the component that's giving this dish most of its depth and flavor is actually on the outside. And Takumi Aldini further explains that after he sauteed the filling, he added heavy cream to the liquid left in the pan and heated it, creating squid liver and anchovy cream sauce. He even drizzled that sauce over the squid, and the creaminess contrasts with the tanginess of the saltiness inside, giving the tongue endlessly shifting flavors to enjoy. And Takumi Aldini further explains having the squid and its filling harmonized perfectly brings out the ultimate flavor of the spear squid. That is my calamari ripene, And we see to it that the judges decide to express how delicious it is through their bodies whatsoever. I'm thinking in my mind, oh my gosh, we all know Shokugeki no Souma or Food Wars is that kind of sexy vibe thing in the series that's always gonna give out that woo 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 thing for us males, obviously. I mean, there's no denying that. And it seems that to me Takumi's Aldini's dish did a good number on the judges. But when it comes to Rindo Senpai or Kobayashi's dish, that's a different story. We see to it that she actually used kaza, one of the most classic dishes of Peruvian cuisine. Various seafoods are sandwiched in between the layers, such as mashed potatoes and unique potato salad. She even mixed minced spear squid with egg whites and onions, then shallow fried it with lemon, mayonnaise, and soy sauce. Mixed the fluffy squid burger, the star of the show. And Aunt gives a history lesson that the famous Peruvian seasoning made from mashed yellow peppers, aji amarillo, gives the mashed potatoes a nice yellow color. The sweetness of Hokkaido's beloved danshaku potatoes emphasizes the body of the squid's flavor. And one of the replaced judges says the most surprising part is the layer beneath the hamburger. It's usually a layer made with tuna, but she seems to have used a somewhat unusual ingredient. And we see to it that Rindo Senpai explains that she used piraruku, which apparently she says that is the world's largest freshwater fish which inhabits the Amazon River. And we see to it that it was further explained that the white fish flesh is decayed, giving it a refined nature, and depending how it's cooked, you can enjoy a nice springy texture similar to chicken. Rindo Senpai further explains it was further explained that she manages to tame all the savage vast flavors of what Mother Nature has to offer, complete harmony with its outer shell and filling, making it superb. She was able to bring out the aroma of the spear squid this much with the tender flesh of the piraruku, and it feels like as though it will transform the person eating it. This is the ultimate training routine, and we see to it that some fan service, of course, and Takumi Aldini got literally knocked out of the ring because Rindo Senpai used this parakuru or something to turn the tide around. But even Takumi Aldini says, I gave everything I had in my dish, but you are still above me. That much I can say. And we see Ishiki Senpai having to start his dish, and we see to it that something involving rabbit that Ishiki and Tsukasa Eishi are dealing with right now is something dealt with in French cooking class, Even right now, one of Souma's friends says there are many ways to prepare rabbit, and depending on how things are, it looks like this could be a very bad match because Tsukasa Eishi is an expert in French cuisine, while Ishiki himself, he's an expert in Japanese cuisine. And there aren't many ways to prepare animal meats, Depending on the region, it's common to eat venison or boar meat, but animal meats were pretty much shunned until the Meiji era. And we see to it that Ishiki prepares a dashi stock whatsoever. And we see to it that Nene does ask Ishiki, why do you look so happy when you're cooking? You understand you're facing off someone that is really above you and strong, right? And Ishiki's like, hey, look, you don't know how contest will go unless you try, Besides, someone who's having fun is actually invincible. That's my life's motto. And we see, too, that Nene seems to have this major grudge to Ishiki because he always seems to have this talent of having to master everything so easily. And we see to it that Ishiki Senpai's cuisine is very strange because they say and it's an Owen bowl, which apparently all of Ishiki Senpai's little kohais are really shocked, going are you serious right now? You can't be really firm about this decision right now. Can you change it to something else? And someone's like, why are you guys so upset? It looks really fun to me, but Hinako says, hey man, this is not something simple. Do you not understand that wild rabbit is a game meat that's renowned for its pungent smell? Using gamey meat in wanama, how thoughtless can you be? And Hayama reminds Yukihira, you used bear meat, right? So it's like the same thing as it goes with rabbit meat. I mean, it could give out a nasty smell if it's not done correctly. So I go oh dear Lord, And as the episode continues on, Ishiki Senpai decides to add rabbit gillets that's been sauteed enough to cook off excess moisture in the kombu dashi, and he wants to get all the umami he can get from the broth, and he needs to avoid any excess bitterness or harshness. The exact moment when just enough umami will be drawn out, it's complete. And we see to it that the moment Anne opens up the dish, it actually drew her in, Even right now, the rich, mellow aroma of the kombu is combining with the powerful and pungent wild rabbit, As the episode continues on, the judges explains the rough edges have been worked away, leaving a pure, delicious soup that could be easily served, And everyone's really shocked right now to see how Ishiki managed to bring out a dish that is able to bewitch the bookman with a single whiff of that broth. And Dashi is one of the most profoundly complex ingredients in the Japanese cuisine, yet he managed to make it work in a wild game. And you know, everything seems to be very nice here and there, and then it ends up having to say like he ends up having this grudge against Ishiki because he's always good at these things, you know. And we see to it that Ishiki says, "I don't think you really understand, Nene. You of all people actually helped me a lot. I mean, all the effort and time you put in is actually more phrase. If it weren't for you, I would have actually not. I don't know if I'd still be cooking or not, you know." And we see to it that the judges ends up tasting Ishiki's dish, and the flavor, it was already a feat to masterfully use the wild rabbit, kombu together, and the delicate wanamono, but he even used dashi from clams, you know? And Anna further explains by combining the perfect ratio of wild game and clam broths with suji broth, which has the mellow, salty body of clams, he brings out the deliciousness up to another level. He basically reinvented a traditional Japanese soup stock from the aroma to the flavor. We are as it's taken by surprise, you know. And Ishiki explains to Nene how she saved him. Back then, when he was in the Ishiki family, he would be renowned as like, oh, you should be able to do anything. You should be able to cook. You should be able to handle anything that you are able to do, you know. But you know, when Ishiki was doing these things, he was just training so hard, but he feels completely empty inside. He gets no praise. No one actually like complimented him, and he got nothing out of it. He was just like a robot, you know. He's like, okay, I'll just work on this, and that's about it. He had no joy. He had like that empty shell of a mind. But he ends up saying like, I saw you like in action with your skills here and there, and I'm thinking in my mind, oh, cooking should be fun, you know, if you do it right. The joy of honing your skills in order to make others happy is you taught me that. How you felt when I saw that beautiful profile of yours, it was beautiful. And we see to it that one of the judges opened one of the things up that was in the soup. I think that's the main part of it, and everything turned to miso right away. And we see to it that like that Ishiki further explains like oh, I wanted you to like what I have in there, what's inside that mochi is minced wild rabbit and green onions, both were steamed thoroughly in the white miso paste. For your first sip, I want you to enjoy the clear soup, then to enjoy the aroma of the wild rabbit and miso as it slowly spread. And we see to it that like the judges ends up explaining that the white miso is combining the savory goodness of the wild rabbit and perfectly blending them together. This dish has carefully composed different levels of beauty in a single bowl. And we see to it that the episode ends up with Ishiki and Tsukasa having a face-off in some kind of fantasy, fictional thing whatsoever. And that's about it. So pretty much without a lot of detail, I'm pretty sure you guys must be tired of that. Without a lot of complications and confusing details, the first half shows Takumi Aldini up against Rindo, and even though he brought out a nice calamari dish of the spear squid, what turned the tide greatly for Rindo is that she's a master of rare ingredients. Like she was able to use ingredients that might be rarely be found or that could be not too good, and able to use it to her advantage, which is the piraruku. I don't know, piraruku. Yeah, to her advantage. As for Ishiki, he will later on make a dish that might be a little like off-putting for a lot of his allies. Not to mention, like, since it's a wild rabbit, the smell would be really bad. But Ishiki somehow managed to do this carefully to the extreme and able to actually mesmerize the judges here and there, you know? Looking forward to more to that. But, you know, I'm pretty sure you guys will say this. We have yet to see Tsukasa's dish, and guaranteed the first seat is not something to be trifled with. Guaranteed that. But, understandable. Anyways, yeah, Ishiki Senpai's throughout the second half was actually got the judges' attention. They actually enjoyed it, and he also reveals that he was saved by Kukukin Nene due to the fact of like since he was like an empty robot shell, it was Kukukin Nene having to show her skills with all she's got and holding it to the ability is the very reason why he enjoys cooking to this day. Well, why he's enjoying cooking and why he's cooking up to this day in present time. and the Souma series, obviously. So, until then, people, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zeno. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot-toot!